Hi all, it's Kimberly. Welcome back to the Twin Flame family. Thanks to those of you who are just joining. And I have your weekly energy update for the Twin Flame Collective and for Divine Love Relationships. This is for the week of August 20th, and it includes the big new moon total solar eclipse on August 21st. So most of you are feeling the effects of the current energies, everything from headaches and exhaustion to ups and downs we've been experiencing. A lot of you have been saying this has been an interesting month, and interesting is such a fun word, isn't it? Because it's so nondescript, but it just kind of alludes to a little bit of this roller coaster. I think there's some really great things happening internally, and then there's some stuff that's still coming up and that I'm going to address in the reading. So I'm excited to share all this with you. Before we get to that, I just want to remind you firstly, I have to say I've had a couple of emails over the past week about how the questions were, how do I read the collective reading? Or like, how do I take that? How do I process that when, how do I apply that to my individual situation and my individual dynamic? And the best advice I can give you is that when the healers on YouTube that you watch or readers, they put out their collective readings, it's really just the collective energies that we're reading that we're picking up on. Now, your individual situation is going to have some synergy with that. It's going to have some resonance. And you're going to be able to pick out what resonates for you. Sometimes all of it does. And sometimes, what's happening individually for you isn't mirroring what's exactly happening in the collective. Or at certain weeks it will, and certain weeks it won't be. So take out, either way, this is, if you're watching it, there's something in here that's meant for you. So just turn your keen ear to that, like the things that are meant for you, because those things are what you're supposed to hear and what are supposed to resonate. And and if you do desire to work in a private session to get more clarity on your individual dynamic, then we can do that privately on a one-on-one session, So you can do that by scheduling either a soul coaching session or a twin flame reading and guidance session with me. That's all available on the twinflamefamily.com. I'm still offering 10% off the soul coaching. I just want to remind you, if you are coming to me for a reading, they're not just readings, they're guidance sessions too. They're often discovery sessions. And actually, I'm doing a little bit of work on transforming some of the services and also growing my brand a little bit. And you're going to see some changes coming up here in the next few weeks coming into September. And I'm feeling very guided to really term these readings discovery sessions, because that's what they end up being. And I've worked with hundreds of twin flames, and these sessions aren't meant to be very 3D based. Okay, so when you come to me and you're like, what's my twin flame going to do next? And I'm going to work with you to help redirect you back to yourself. We do read the current energies. I can give you a read on what's happening presently, but then we go above that, okay? And we really help you define the work that's needed for you and the energy shifting that you may need to create to, shift the dynamic, okay? And often it's not what we think. Often it's not from the place that we've been operating from. So for instance, if you're thinking, okay, the more I focused on my twin, I'm afraid to let go of that focus because it feels like he's just going to be gone if I do. But the truth is that if you just stop thinking about him, especially negatively, that the situation will heal in really beautiful ways, and we're just allowing better. So I work with you to help free up the energy, so to clear the resistance blocks. Sometimes we're strangulating the energy. We don't even realize it by our fixating or our obsession on the connection. And some of you are already working on your 5D stuff, but you're just frustrated because you're going, I've been purging for so long. I've been doing this, and I help you kind of just cut to it. And I go, but you didn't pinpoint, the core wound, or you didn't really dig into this piece of it enough. And so then we do that a little bit together, at least to have the aha moments come up. So you're bringing the dark stuff, the subconscious stuff, into light. And by the end of a reading and guidance session, most of my clients feel better. They have insight on the current energies, but they know how they can shift things energetically, okay? And it's usually much different, in a much different way than the way that they arrive at the session, right? So, it's, I could say, like, if I summed it up in a couple of words, how most clients feel at the end of the session: most feel relieved, most have a sense of direction and what's next in their own healing mission and how they're going to shift in this dynamic. And also, I think hope is renewed, but not by giving you like 3D things to latch onto. It's more like reinforcing really what some of you already know, because many of you, most of you that come to me are wildly gifted and have amazing intuitive knowing, and sometimes you're just not listening to that and you just need to have a session for the validation. I'm a truth teller. I tell it like it is. I don't hold back. If there's a message from spirit, I will deliver it to you. I'm also a soul coach, so I am privy to your sensitivities. I've been through most of this stuff myself. Mostly everything that you could name on the face of the planet I've been through, and that's what prompted me to become a soul coach. All the challenges, all the growth, and still actively learning and growing. So a lot of times when I'm working with clients, like, and they reveal something, I can say, I really understand that. I really do. I've really been there before, and I so get this. And then we're able from that place to lift it up, elevate it. So it's not so much of a problem or a roadblock, but really just something that is there for you to, it's an opportunity to grow and expand. And then in soul coaching sessions, just to talk a little bit about that, that's really very progressive. We actually dig into your work. So the shadow work, the shifting the beliefs, the helping you claim your divine feminine and balance your inner polarities, or claim your divine masculine power. We talk very much about childhood stuff, old memories, parental dynamics, ancestral things, religious backgrounds. We talk about things that many of you, I feel, graze over in your healing, and you say, oh, I healed that. And I go, well, did you pinpoint it, or do you know the specific memory? And so when I work with my clients, we get very specific. I think things often just come to light just like that. And it's because you're coming to me because you're ready to address it yourself. You're ready to bring it forth. And I'm just helping you facilitate that, okay? And that's the beautiful piece of this is, as a soul coach, I'm here just kind of holding your hand along the way and helping to guide you. But it's still you doing the discovery, you doing the uncovering, you doing the work, and you starting to see the shifting, the opportunity for the shifting. And then we talk about new belief systems, how we change this momentum, what you can actively do. So soul coaching is more that we dig into it. We're actually facilitating the healing, the transformative work, and all of that. So if anyone's interested, you can book a session on the website, thetwinflamefamily.com, still offering 10% off the soul coaching through the month of August. And also, one more thing, we still have a few spots open in the Tuesday, August 22nd, Awakening Your Third Eye workshop. So if anyone wants to participate in that, that's all about psychic development. It's going to be a super fun class. It's only $22. You can sign up on the website. Just click the group services tab on thetwinflamefamily.com. So going back to the collective energies, and this being the week of the total solar eclipse. Well, okay. So really feeling like this is going to be pivotal for the twins, especially as individuals, okay? So, and also for the dynamic. So there's two what's happening is individually is helping really to shift the dynamic right now, one way or another. And it's, I'm going to talk more about what that means. Okay. So, for the twins, the balance card is coming up. Okay. And this is really about balancing the inner polarities, as I've talked about. This is about balancing also our desires in life, what we want, what we desire to do. And there's a certain amount of, they're saying like throttle. Like we've got the fire energy of Leo that's helping us bring things to fruition right now, and bring things into light. And this is a really, I feel like many of the twins right now, and some in a sullen way, are evaluating their lives, and kind of, many of you might be looking out to the future. I think some of you have some deep fears to clear. There's some fear stuff coming up around, oh, am I going to be an old maid? Am I going to only live with my cat or my dog and never find that? Or is my twin flame just never going to come around? But you're also thinking about yourself, and you're going, well, what do I want out of my life? I know that that's not the case. I'm not going to be alone, but what do I want out of my life? And this is about birthing the new desires and really thinking about, they're showing me like the next 10-year cycle. And we're in this 1 year now, and it's like, this is really a time to get clear about what you desire. And this can be really about like immediate things too, because this is a time to set new intentions. And it's a powerful, powerful new moon. And for some of you, I think maybe if you've been wanting to take a risk or wanting to make a leap, like with your mission, like now might be the time to start to put that out there, so that September and October you can start to act on that. I'm talking about like transitions, like leaving a school to go get this job that's going to serve us better, leaving one job to get on a mission or develop some sort of entrepreneurial project, like stuff like that. Like I'm seeing a lot of that happening with the twins, like, and it's almost like, it's not that the doors are being closed for us, because that often happens with the eclipses, but it's more like, it's just that the door feels like where we're at right now is starting to feel dim and dark, and it's like it's closing in, and it feels like the door is starting to close because we don't want to be there anymore. It's not working where we're at right now. But then there's this other thing over here, and it keeps calling to us, and we're like, ooh, that feels good. I'd like to do that. But what they're saying is that's not a someday thing anymore. Like they're saying balance your desires with what you're physically doing every day. With you, this is a time now to make those physical transitions. Not overnight, but like sometime over the next month or so, they're saying you can bring things to life, and you can start acting and physically doing what you're meant to be doing. And you can start with small steps and baby steps. And some of you are even ready to just make the leap, like I said. And as I said, this is all about balancing the inner polarities. And many of us have been working on claiming our power in our divine feminine and divine masculine aspects. And I feel many of us are stepping back to our childhood to remember who we are at the soul level, our true self. And that's that self-remembrance that is actually giving us the power. That is our divine feminine, divine masculine power. And that can be, and it's interesting because, and I'm not reading divine feminine, divine masculine this week, by the way. I'm just reading for the collective. And I feel guided to do that. So the 6 of Cups came up, and this is all about those childhood memories and returning to that childhood compassion, kindness. It's also, I feel like for the twins, thinking a lot about how we were as children. My twin flame and I went and did a whale watch, and the both of us, we hadn't done that since we were children, and it was so fun and amazing. We had the best day experiencing this, and I feel like the twins are doing this together, okay, and I feel like they're also doing it as individuals, because so many of you have been working with in session, and this is like, we've talked about so many things. I was cartwheeling the other night in my living room, because I used to do that. I used to cartwheel through my house like all the time. When I was a little girl, my mom would be like, stop cartwheeling, stop, and I'd pretend like I was an Olympic gymnast, but I loved to do it. There was something very freeing about it. So the other night I said to myself, I'm just going to cartwheel. No one's here. I've got space. Why not? And it's as silly as it sounds, there was something really amazing and empowering about that. And really just, it's those childlike memories that are brewing up in us, both for the healing, like the deep stuff, the things that I keep telling you guys to pinpoint on the map, like the core wound stuff. And we're still purging that, especially right now, okay, with these energies. But it's also like the joy factor. And I've got that coming up underneath where it's restriction. So it's showing joy guides. And this is reminding us to enjoy, stop restricting, putting limitations. I'm going to read you what this card says. This is from Sonia, I think it's Choquette. These are her oracle cards. I seldom use these cards, but I was guided to today. So this is about assumptions, rigidity, limitations, and prejudice. So it says your joy guides are tapping at your mind's door, hoping to open it and free you from the corner of your narrow thinking. From the corner your narrow thinking has backed you into. Running on too many assumptions and preconceived notions, you've conveniently eliminated all your options and may be now experiencing a damned if I do, damned if I don't cycle of frustration. And I've heard this a lot with you guys in private session, where you're like, I kind of said at the beginning of this video, like, you kind of are strangulating the energy in your twin flame dynamic. So you're like, what do I do? What do I don't? What don't I do? And you're calculating your next move, or you're fixated on things, or you feel like if you give too much, that's not good. And if you don't say anything, that's not good. But here's the thing. What we're being asked to just shift back into alignment with ourselves. This is come into alignment with yourself. Okay? And they're saying your joy guides want you to step back and see the futility of making yourself so impossibly miserable, okay? And remind you that you're not so stuck. So remember, you're not stuck. And if you have a dilemma like that, they're just saying, like, let it go. And they're reminding you to get back into like a laughter space, into enjoyment space. And the only way I can tell you from my own experience that you can do that is by aligning with yourself. What makes you feel good? What feels authentically like you? It could be anything. Walks in nature, coloring, listening to music, watching old TV shows that you used to watch as a kid, something that's comforting, that's fun, that you laugh or giggle. You can just things like this. So not only is this about just getting into our joy center and allowing ourselves to have fun and to laugh and to be light, but it's really about, I feel like it's about alignment, okay, with ourselves, with source, with ourselves. And stop restricting things, because we're strangulating things. We're getting frustrated with the way things are, the way things aren't, what we should do, what we can't do. And even in this balance of like when I was talking about not just balancing the inner polarities, but balancing your desires versus what you're actually physically doing on a day-to-day basis. And they're saying stop feeling restricted. Just go do what you love, even if you're just doing it just to do it right now, just so that you can feel good, just because taking an action step towards something that feels good, then do it. It's time to do that. So yeah, so above the balance card, so let's get back to what's crowning here, is the judgment card. Okay, so here's the judgment. Okay, we've got Elizabeth and Tannhauser and Elizabeth. Okay, so the judgment card, we want to talk about there being a choice to make, and it kind of being like we're choosing between higher or lower vibration actions, behaviors, and high, low vibe. There's this duality here. And what I feel like we're being called to through the eclipse is to really, really see clearly now what we've been doing. We're almost looking back at some of our behaviors in the past 6 months, especially. You may be having a lot of looking back at the past 6 months. And you may even look back and go, that doesn't even feel like me, like 3 or 4 months ago, right? And you're also being called to look back at some of those low vibrational things and behaviors and things that you've been gravitating towards, ways of being. And I think it's just being shown to you now. That type of clarity is just coming in for us. And we're going, wow, no, I really have the desire to shift up into the higher vibrational realm. And I really want to lift my thinking, elevate my thinking. What do you want? I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be stuck. I want to move forward. I'm going to get out of my own way, and I'm going to allow things to just open up for me. And through that allowance, also with the judgment card, they're saying, let the universe orchestrate things. Okay. This is about flowing and not restriction. This is about, self-awareness, letting go of control. This is about, it's that self-awareness is coming through very clear. It's like, it's almost like you're watching yourself, the past 6 months, how you've behaved, who you were, how you've grown. You're watching it in a movie. Like that's how they're showing it to me. And I think it's this self-awareness and this clarity that's birthing a new desire. Like, no, I'm done with that. I'm done with the fear. I'm done with the old stuff. I'm done with being sad. I really want to be happy and joyful. And underneath the situation is also the new life card. And it's the Divine Mother. And this is about creation. And this is about creating a new life. And this is about creating everything that you want. This is about manifesting, creating creative, projects. This is about just bringing to life what you desire for your now and for your future. This is saying that we have the power to create anything, but it starts from desire, and we have to birth that desire. And I think that desire is being shown to, that's big piece of what's being illuminated right now. It's being shown to us, and in contrast to what we've just been through. So some of us, like our twin flames, and even in my situation as well, we've been in dynamics where our twins maybe haven't treated us the way that we deserve to be treated, or we haven't lined up with that deserving treatment, or there's resentments. Remember, I did a video about the resentments. There's things right now that you're looking at and you're seeing your part in, and you're just going, I just don't want to do that anymore. I'm totally lining up with myself, and I have these desires, and I'm staying rooted in this, and I'm following this passion, and I'm following this, this nurturing this new life, and it's coming to be for many of us. So keep believing in that. This is a time, I had said a few weeks ago, of daydreaming, but they're saying still keep the daydreaming going, and it's not just daydreaming, it's just getting your desire juices flowing, right? So we're coming out of the contrast of, oh, I wasn't treated the right way, or oh, I don't like the way I behaved, or relinquishing or purging the old ways of being, letting go of our tempers, letting go of our fear and worry, letting go of our need to control, letting go of all of that stuff so that we can allow this new life to take shape, because that's very much what it feels like. And this is individually, I feel this especially for the divine feminine. I also think this can be very much for the twin flames, a new life, as individuals and in the dynamic. So underneath is the 10 of Swords, or 10 of Arrows, and this is very much feeling like all that purging. It's very much feeling like, something needing to come to an end, and I feel like it's the end. It's this death birth cycle, right? It's the end of the old ways of being. It really feels like this. It's this, I only want joy. Only I'm going to create that. I'm going to allow the universe to preside over this. I'm going to allow things to happen. I have self-awareness now that's helping to see me through. And look who are crowning this, and what's reigning over this is the twin flames, the twin flame card, and Archangel Michael. And Archangel Michael is always saying that you can do it, and he's saying you're working very closely with this powerful archangel. He's protecting and guiding you. You're being guided. You're protected. And the twin flames. This is really, these individual shifts that are happening right now are helping the twin flames really get into more truth within themselves. And a lot of like the pining, the misery, the agony, the unhappiness with ourselves, we're purging the final strands of that. And for many of you too, still it's coming up as insecurities. We're still purging our final insecurities. We're seeing now that they're hooked back in, or they're connected to how our mom or our dad rejected us or criticized us, or these patterns that we've had throughout our lives. And we're being called to purge them now. We're being called into true self-acceptance, because it's from that place that we can birth the life that we desire. It's from the place of true self-love that we can really not only give unconditionally to others, but really create the life that we're meant to have. So if there is that feeling, that cynical feeling, or that sullen, gloomy feeling of like, oh no, I'm doomed. Why can't I, I've had some of you crying to me on the phone, on these video calls that we have, and it's like feeling like just that romantic partner is like the one thing that hasn't come into play for you yet, or hasn't fit, hasn't locked in. Especially when you're desiring it so much with your twin flame and it's not happening. But I have to tell you that the more grief that we have around that, and the more we feel like it's not happening, the more we're focusing on it not happening, or feeling like the time's running out, or like the restriction, right? The more we do that, the further we hold that away from us. So the only way to get back into welcoming this into our life with our twin flame, or with anyone else, okay, these things that we want to create in our life, the partnership, the soul love, and all of that, is to just get back in alignment with yourself. Go do the things that make you feel happy and like who you truly are. And this is very much like, this month has been like about getting out of the misaligned things, like the misaligned behavior. This is not serving me anymore. This is not working for me. This is bringing me more, grief and shame and You were seeing that now. That's being illuminated for us. So we're able to shift our behavior now, which is amazing. We're also looking at, like I said, like our work situations, our school situations, those types of things. We're going, yeah, I'm not meant to be here anymore. I'm just not. I just know I'm supposed to be over here. I'm supposed to be leading. I'm supposed to be healing. I'm supposed to be, doing something that I never probably imagined that I would do. But that just feels right. And this feels freer. And many of you have said, many about the things coming up with insecurities or the things that are like restricting us, that the most important thing to you is freedom. And it's like freedom from the toxic cycles that we're harboring within, freedom from all this restrictive thinking. So I want you to really, in this new moon, be thinking about the life you want to create. Okay? Think general, think big, get excited, feel joyful, and let's get out of those restrictive ways of thinking. Those things that are like, time's ticking, and no, that's not going to help us. That's going to just strangle the energy. So we also have the Princess of Arrows coming up. Okay, that's Psyche. And this is very much about, I feel for the twins, it's like news coming in, information, one twin delivering information to the other, things that may come out of left field, like with all solar eclipses or all eclipses. There's some information that's going to come through now. Be open to receiving it, because no matter what it is, even if you feel bowled over by it, it's going to be for your highest good. It's information that's going to help clear up any confusion that has lingered. It's going to be necessary in creating the forward momentum. And I think for many of you, I'd say a good percentage of the collective, there's some sort of news or illumination of something that was not known before, or things that were not clear before will become clear. And by way of, I feel like, news. But this is not something to fear. You just have to get into your allow space and stay aligned with yourself. This is whatever is going to be shown to you needs to be shown to you, because that's what the universe is orchestrating. This is for your highest good. This is what your soul is calling in, whether you know it or not, even though some of these things may be a little tough. It's not going to be beneficial for us to pull these things in from a place of fear, because then basically we're just seeing our fears, the law of attraction, our fears will be just shown back to us. So when I say news is coming in, and for some of you, it's going to like shake us up a little bit. Okay, well, you know what? Just roll with it. It's news or information that you're supposed to have. And I would give it about a week after the eclipse. Okay? And I think it's going to help things push forward. For some of us, these may even be dream revelations. I feel like for many, it will be actual concrete news or information. It'll help in the long run. It's going to help you move forward. And for those of us who are delivering news to our twin flame or our soul connection partner, if there's some sort of information or news that you need to give to somebody, they're saying choose your words carefully. Be authentic. Okay, don't hold back. Be authentic. Speak your truth. But be kind and compassionate. Remember the sensitivities of the other person. Okay? Because everything that you say right now will be, there's an opportunity for things to be misconstrued We're still in Mercury retrograde, so choose your words carefully. It's important right now. Communications are strained. So, yeah. So underneath the deck, we have the Nine of Cups, and this is very good. This is all about getting into that joy space, right? These great things that are coming to us, and I feel like for twins, for many of you, this is symbolic of reunion. Okay? And some of you have asked, well, like, how do I know if I'm at the point of union? Well, it takes a long while, usually, to be ready for union. You're going to have checkpoints. You're going to go in and out of separation. This is quite common while we're doing our work. Not all, but many will. And really, really, really try not to skip past these checkpoints, these check-ins, these second, third rounds of the relationship and going, why isn't it, why can't we just be there at the end? Well, there is no end. There is no end result. What's the end result? Union? Well, then what? You're always going to be working on yourself, and this relationship is always going to be healing and growing. And twin flames do have mission to serve together, but these separations and checkpoints and coming back together and separating, and this is allowing us to evolve, heal, grow individually, and it's allowing us to step back in together to check back in. See, you can kind of see in the mirror how far you've come. It's not really about you measuring how far the other person has come. It's really about you looking in the mirror and going, how far have you come? What do you still need to work on? What has improved? What's improving? Things are improving. Things are improving. You all are making progress. I can tell you that 100%. So it might be a good time to write that down. What have you improved? Your behaviors, the behaviors of the past, realigning with your boundaries and your integrity. Many of you have. Getting on your mission. Many of you have. Starting to claim or stepping more fully into your divine feminine or divine masculine power. Many of you have. I know it because I see it. Really, really important stuff. So see this and then recognize it in your twin flame too. We have to stop focusing negatively on our twin flames. It's energetically, it's half the battle in these dynamics. And the negative focus is only stemming from our unhealed places from within ourselves. So when you find yourself focusing negatively on your twin flame, like, oh, he's so this or da da da, turn it around and go, okay, where is this stemming from within me? Why do I need that from him? Why am I attracting this in my life? Why is he mirroring this for me, or is she mirroring this for me? How can I grow from this? What work can I do? What information do I need? Like, this is a time of expansion. This whole year. Expansion, expansion, expansion. Learning. Get a new book. Watch a new video. And especially towards the things that are going to, like, feed your soul's desires. I feel the desire word being a very key word for this solar eclipse. So, and this new moon. So write down your desires and remember, it's a new life. So, and it's just beginning right now. And it's a product of all this work that you've been doing. So if you feel like I've been working so hard and blah, 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 and I haven't come that far and why is this coming up again? Well, it's going to come up. Our stuff's always going to come up. There's always different layers of purging. There's different layers of things that we need to go through. However, like I just said, look at what you have cleared. Look how far you have come. Look back at this past 6 months and see the transformation that you've made. And then just allow, when the stuff comes up again, just allow it. Stop resisting it. Don't restrict yourself. Just allow it. And then you can get right back into true self, joy space, connecting with your power. And that's the stuff that dreams are made of. And that's how you manifest. And that's how this new life is going to be birthed. So I'll leave you with that. I hope that was a hopeful message for you. I think there were some really good aspects of this collective reading. Really overall positive. There's still some stuff to be purged. There's some information coming in, but overall, forward momentum is inevitable. And here we are on the cusp of a lot of great things. So love to you all. Mwah. Talk to you again soon. Bye.